What are you picking up? What are your vibes on the way this thing looks?
Well, number one, as a former player that did SEC media days, I want to look at all the player swag first.
Yeah.
I want to see who's the best dressed. I want to see, because that kind of is a way to kind of look into the personality of the player. I think South Carolina had a player earlier was very well dressed. He looked like he was from South Florida, or he had the bright colors. So I'm like, that has to be a defensive back. Then we had some other guys. Mike Wright from Vanderbilt had a great. We just saw had a great outfit on and things like that.
I have to stop you here because I'm with you every weekend, and nobody looks like you do. And of course, nobody has your money either.
That's two correct answers, Paul.
These are young guys who, well, I was about to say they're hardworking students.
That has changed, Paul. It's no longer that.
Let me wake back up in 2022. But what is the definition for us elderly people of swag?
Swag is just like, man, it's an attitude, it's a personality, it's a persona. It's like when somebody walks in, they just have this aura around them. It's the way they carry themselves, it's the way they talk. Does the shoes match the drip, which is nothing but your clothing or what you have on? A lot of young kids now, they don't even wear the socks. There's no socks.
Oh, no,
there's no socks.
Well,
it's just shoes.
A lot of people that sit at this desk don't wear that either.
Yeah. They got to have the ankles out. Make sure your ankles are not ashy. So all these things matter. I look at all that. I judge it all when I'm looking at anybody's total swag and their whole appearance. And also, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. I believe I got that quote from Deion Sanders, and it is 100% true. When I was a former player, I loved to dress up nice. I loved to have the chains. I loved to have my glasses on inside the building just because you think you're cool, And so it's all about how you carry yourself and the approach to going to the game and doing whatever it is.
I mean, you're a guy that told me a story last fall that nearly got into a fight before a game over some ridiculously minor slight. So you're talking about when you walk out there and you see other. Now when you
he should have acted like he didn't know me then. That was his fault. He started that, Paul. You know that. Don't get me back heated up again,
We'll pick
Paul.
that up again one Friday during the fall.
And I had pads on at that point. So once I put the pads on, I'm locked in.
When you guys are dressed up and then you see the other guys, the other team, what are you looking at? That guy doesn't even bother.
1,000%. If I saw a guy, especially when I was playing, it was a couple different things. All right. If I saw a running back with no gloves, you better watch out. This guy has reckless abandonment going downhill. Nobody wants to tackle that guy. No gloves, no wrist tape. I'm a little nervous about that guy. I'm like, that guy doesn't care about anything else. Now, when I saw guys with like a little bit of swag, like his tapes, and he was looking too pretty, I'm like, I'm not really worried about him too. He's too much about his appearance. So he's not really worried about the game. His mind's on other things. So it's amazing that we put all these thoughts into things that don't even matter.
With that suit on, you're yelling at somebody else worried about their appearances?
You gotta. I'm back home. Look at that inside. You see the guts on that thing, Paul? Look at that. It's all about the little things, Paul. I'm back home for me, back in the South. I got to look like I just came fresh out the pulpit this morning. That was my look or where I was going with it.
Well, I like it because I had a mother when I was growing up. I mean, she dressed me in flashy stuff, and I finally got away from it because I got to a point where I was so disliked, I did not want to call attention to myself.
Correct.
So by being generic, you were not walking in anywhere.
So, Paul, I was the opposite because I didn't get a lot of attention. I had an older brother who commanded all this attention. He was the big ball player and this, that, and other. I needed to do something to stand out. So what's one thing I can control? Also playing defense my whole life. I need to do something to stand out because everybody pays attention to the ball. I don't have the ball. So what can I do? I can dress a little bit flashier. I can rock my socks just a little bit differently than everybody else. But like, who is that guy with this kind of? Those are the little things that you try and do as a defensive player to try and stand out. And of course, I carried on to the next level. Not only is my hair gray, my beard's gray, but my suit game is nice.
When you were playing, college players weren't being paid. College players weren't able to get a little spending money.
There was no NIL is the correct statement.
So my question is this. I've been around a lot of Alabama pre-games. I didn't see what they're wearing here today.
The suits are very nice. Now, there are certain suit guys and things of that nature in Tuscaloosa who are willing to give you certain looks and different things for a couple,
Hold on. You're talking about in the community?
Possibly so. If you want to get it's people that have nice suits.
So back in the day.
I mean, all these custom guys have been around for a long time.
You could walk into a nice place.
These custom guys have been around for a long time. Now, the suits are cut differently, so now they look a little bit nicer. They look like they fit a little bit better instead of more off the rack.
When you were a college student at Alabama, what were you paying for these suits? Or were you paying at all?
Now, Paul, we don't have to talk about the details. That's all in the agreement. It's all
I just want to know
what is agreed upon, Paul.
It is a fact that the school went on probation after you were there.
I don't know the exact agreement to what everybody agreed to, but that is all in the details, Paul.
Is it still in existence for when Roman played at Alabama? We're checking right now.
Well, Paul, the funny thing is that Alabama got in trouble even when Nick Saban got there for some things that happened when I was on campus. And so because of that, I technically never won a game when I was at Alabama. They took away those 4 wins just so they wouldn't affect Nick Saban and what he was doing.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.